Hello and welcome everyone. It is Una from Bella Retreats coming to you today with another Bella Retreats leader interview series. This is where I get to talk to phenomenal retreat leaders that lead retreats worldwide. Today, I'm thrilled to introduce Aradia Sunseri. She's the founder of Ritual Movement Arts, established in 2008 and accomplished artist in the field of temple fusion belly dance. Ritual Movement Arts is a modern mystery school of ancient practices devoted to sacred dance and women's vitality. Welcome, Aradia. Nice to see you.
Thank you. Lovely to be with you.
Thanks for being here. We've known each other for many years now. I think I saw you on stage once at Lightning in a Bottle, and we worked together on another retreat many years ago. And what I'm struck by is this space that you hold. And that's something that I do talk about a lot as it pertains to retreat leading and what it means to hold space. And I'd love to hear from you a little bit more about what is the modern mystery school of ancient practices and why is it important to hold a certain space or container for that type of work?
Absolutely. Yes. So it's interesting. The concept of a mystery school used to be a mystery. It used to be something that you would do in the more like Western esoteric studies. You would go on pilgrimages and you would study with different teachers. One of the most famous is the Eleusinian mystery schools from Greece. And what the mystery schools were generally created for was self-inquiry, deep development, and deep reverence to the goddess, the god, nature, source. And so these were places and times where people could go into initiation around moving through the world beyond the five senses. So we have all of these different elements in our lives. And I think right now in the culture, things are rising and people are really looking for deeper connection and community, deeper connection in their own artistic soul purpose. And the mystery school, the concept of it is actually demystifying a lot of things that I know we intrinsically have within us, but perhaps the culture and the time that we live in doesn't allow us a lot of that self-inquiry, or maybe doesn't support us to go into deeper levels of how we perceive, how we come into our core beliefs, how we relate to our bodies as temples. And the mystery school is specifically focused on the women's mysteries. So we're working with vitality in all the five phases of a woman's hormonal experience. We're also working with the three phases of the goddess and the moon, the mother, the maiden, the mother, and the crone. And so it's a lot to package into one concept, but they're all roots of the same tree. So it's coming together as a system that is lineage teachings coming through, and then learning your own inner system again, and then how you relate to these mysteries. So it's not so much the traditional sit with the guru on a mountain for 20 years or maybe for the rest of your life, and that's that. And it's not necessarily about just seeking enlightenment. It's more about integration and the quality of how we can show up in our lives to be thriving and sustainable and connected through ritual and through reverence and right relation.
Wow, this is so fascinating, I think, because, yeah, we are in a very modern world and we all are embodied here on planet Earth at this time. And there are these lineages, yoga, Ayurveda, certain dance traditions that you have studied. And so, yeah, it becomes a really interesting conundrum or paradox, if you will. How do we embody ancient teachings and live and walk the talk or of these ancient teachings in a modern world? So it sounds like that's what you've done, is kind of fuse these together into a system, like you said, that empowers women and their self-expression primarily through these dance and other practices. Is that right?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's interesting because I feel very blessed. It's like the old story, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. I started ritual movement arts in 2008 in Portland, Oregon, and it was really just my passion for tribal fusion belly dance. And I just started dancing and immediately was like, oh, this is something that everyone should experience in their lives. You know, this power of moving energy through the belly and moving energy into the hips and having this somatic release. And at the time I was, you know, just performing nonstop and on the road and touring, and my body was getting really exhausted. And I found belly dance to be extremely nourishing and yin, and help me slow down and also help me process. I had personally some anger and just some turmoil in my belly from life and experience and travel. And belly dance, doing the undulations and moving into the breath work of just feeling my body moving, um, a light bulb went off. And I knew then that there was something very special here. And then the community of sisterhood and the costumery and the music and everything that came with it just lit me on fire. And
Mm.
so I started teaching immediately because it was just so natural in my body. And then I started hosting these little events called Gypsy Soup. And we would just do like women's night, just dancing until we dropped, basically.
Mm.
And it was epic. So that was the seedling that turned into what ritual movement arts is now. And it's a lot of my personal life experience of being raised with a deep yogic philosophy, being surrounded by Hindu tradition, and also from my women's line, my mother's line, being surrounded by witches and herbalists and having that very wild nature around me. So when I was little, I didn't know what a vagina was, but I knew what a yoni was. And so there was a lot of Hindu philosophy and yogic philosophy that was the core for a lot of my beginning mind. And I love that because it's a non-dogmatic religion. It's one of the few religions that encompasses all other religions.
Mm.
So from the falling in love with the belly dance and the sisterhood, and then having the roots, and then having, you know, several years of yoga and Eastern philosophy coming into my life at a very young age, having Kundalini awakenings and feeling the gift. I remember when I first moved to San Francisco, I was able to sit with one of my greatest Buddhist teachers, and we were studying the path of Raja Yoga. And we would do these meditations together. And if you sat close enough to her, you literally felt like you were vibrating, like this illuminating essence around her. And yeah, so from that, later in life, it developed more and more, and the momentum of performing and bringing in the ritual of the dance, of the yoga, of the inner alchemy. And this is where that whole self-nourishment piece came forward, because oftentimes we can extend and give, but if we're giving from a place where we're not fully resourced, we hit burnout. And
Mm.
so that's when it started to again have this awakening of like, when I do meditation and breath work and dance and bring in this yogic, rhythmic yin lifestyle, I have more energy. I have more availability. I have more compassion and more inspiration. So
Mm.
the pieces culminated, and then with years of refining, it was time to teach like fully. And then, of course, that was another big initiation around the witch wound. and around being able to step into my voice and feel safe to share information and not be caught in the web of praise or criticism. Just to be and know that I'm not, for everyone, but the transmission and the energy of what is in me to give, that is my medicine, comes from such an authentic yearning in my heart to be of service to this time, that everything else just started to fade away. And then alignment and the goddess started helping. And then retreats were formed.
Wow.
Then the school was formed. And then it just has been from now. So it's a lot to put into one little pocket, but
yes, as you're talking, I'm an astrologer, so I think in astrologer terms, but Venus is in Leo. And if you're out after sunset these days and you look to the west, you see this shining, brilliant, brilliant star. And in Western astrology right now, she's in the sign of Leo. And that Leo archetype is so important as it pertains to our personal expression. And what it really speaks to is that each person has their own unique essence, that if you're brave enough, to really tap into that, into the heart. Leo's associated with the heart as well, to tap into that essence and to be willing to share your personal expression with the world. That actually is an act of service. And that's the opposite of Leo, is the Aquarius. It's the group, it's the people, it's to give back something. And so I, as an artist, of course, feel that that's the same too. Here I am in front of a painting. My friend painted this, and, that type of personal expression, whether it's art or dance or poetry or whatever it is that comes from your heart, that is this authentic and raw thing. It takes such bravery, and it's not about necessarily performing as much as it is getting in touch with that inner part of you that needs to express. And it's something that I care deeply about in terms of being an artist. And also it's perfect timing because we have Venus retrograde in Leo right now, which only happens every 8 years. So very important little piece of info, I feel.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love that. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Gorgeous. So, well, how did you tell us about the retreat, the name of it and why you created it, and sort of what people will do if they want to go on this retreat?
Absolutely. Yeah. Just to add quickly to the Leo,
Yeah.
I'm a Leo, so I relate very, very much to that. And that's part of that solar plexus and heart energy around being really inspired to create sacred spaces and safe containers to watch other people light up. That really, really excites me.
Fire. Yes.
Yes, that fire, that Shakti, that activation when I see the lights going off in someone else's body and energy, it's really deeply just nourishing. Yeah. So that is why the Radiant Priestess Retreat was created. And this is my 9th retreat under this name and under this intention. And it's only 13 women. I always keep it very intimate, a council of 13. And it was actually created from some of my students. When I was living in Malibu, we were meeting every Saturday and having these amazing long yoga and then belly dance sessions. And then we'd all sit around and have a tea ceremony and just talk about our dreams and ideas. And I felt Pele coming in very strong. And so I decided that we were going to go. We were going to go to Pele, and we were going to spend a week praying and dancing and bleeding and offering our everything. And I had never run a retreat before. I had only taught classes and had been mostly focusing as a performance artist, traveling and performing. And so I was divinely guided, and literally every step of the way, little miracles were happening. I actually was given a space at the retreat center without a deposit. which is unheard of. Just because the woman that I met there believed in the work so much that she was like, "Oh, 13 women, no problem. You'll get that done." And it was literally sold out in a week and a half. So it was like the right counsel was there. And not to say that the retreat itself hadn't been in the works and brewing for a long time. And I'd been mentorshipping and teaching for so long, but it was another level around holding space and going on this deep pilgrimage. So we went, and it was epic, and it turned into quite a pilgrimage that allowed me to return to the Hawaiian Islands every single year, gathering different councils. And it really is around the priestess, because the priestess is coming into the heart and the womb space and aligning yourself to be in sovereignty of your own personal sensual power. And so this retreat is all about yin nourishment, checking in with where your pleasure is, how you relate to radical self-care, and then being fabulous in nature and allowing yourself to digital detox and eat fresh food right from the land, and just have this council of sisterhood and women supporting you to show up however you are each day. And we dance a lot, and we get to go to the ocean and go hiking in the waterfalls. And it's just, it's such an amazing way to gather, because with immersions, you can kind of start to get there, but with retreats, I feel like you get to do a full reset, and whatever chores or patterns or concepts that may be holding you back in your day to day, it really is like the mystery school originally, where you go on this pilgrimage or you go on this hero's journey, and you get to break down whatever story you might be holding that might be holding you back from your higher potential. And so you can go and play. And oftentimes I'll get an email or something like a month or two after the retreat. And I love hearing, "Look what's happened in my life." Da, 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 da. And I'm like, yeah, this is epic magic. And we co-created that by taking the time to also internally restore and refill the chalice of our energy. Again, this is all about that reclaiming. And this does come to the Taoist arts and the priestess arts of the lineage work around how we have breath work. And this is not modern necessarily. This is actually yogic techniques that have been used since the beginning of time. So a lot of people, if they come and have had a basic yoga teacher training, you'll see different elements of this from traditional hatha, or from different tantra studies. So yeah, allowing the mind to almost dive into the study of it allows, like a drum, something to focus on. So then the body can relax, the nervous system can relax, you can receive, and then you can play. And I feel like when you're actually playing in your body, that's when you can do amazing healing. It doesn't necessarily have to be talk therapy or process the story. It can be dance, sweat, cry, shake, and then you're good.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, there's something, well, there's three things I want to respond to about that. First of all, we started off with Pele and Hawaii and the islands, and just how special and magical, they are. That we still can go visit there and be amongst them. And I believe your retreat's on Maui this time. Is that right?
That's great.
So magic. My favorite island of them all. And we've actually had a retreat at the retreat center where you're going. And so I've been there. And it's absolutely incredible. It's on these cliffs. It overlooks the water, and there's rainforests and gardens and jungle, and it's a really special place. Like, it has this gorgeous held energy there. And I can't really think of a better spot, honestly, where and I talk about this all the time, like the reset possibility that occurs when you go on a retreat, when you get out of your day-to-day life And, you put the home and the kids and the work and the pets and the plants down, and you go out into the world and you have this container of time and energy and space where you get to fully devote yourself to these practices and experiences. I mean, the reset possibility is so great because of the way that our brains work, right? This is when our brains go on to the prefrontal cortex goes on, and we start learning new things and habits and patterns. And that's why people have such big breakthroughs on retreats. It's one of the reasons why I love retreats, for this very reason. And it sounds like you guys are doing really deep work, but then I love that you say play, because you got the Leo, the inner child that wants to come out and to just be in your body and to dance and to feel the elements. It's so simple in a way, that recipe. It's so simple, but so powerful when we really commit and give ourselves that time and that space to do something like that. So it sounds so fun to me. I want to be dancing under the moonlight. I want to come. So, yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, well, and it's really precious. The land there is on the north shore of Maui, and it's completely untouched, the entire coastline. And it's really important to return to sacred spaces in nature. These are our original teachers. And so, to be able to walk around barefoot on the grounds and eat food, a lot of food is grown there because they also have a permaculture farm. And I'm in touch with the head farmer, and we always get to go through the menu together and see, oh, we have fresh turmeric and we have taro and da 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 da. And yeah, it's returning to the land and feeling that energy. And then of course the weather is so divine that you can just, run around in the elements and be embraced. And I love Haleakua. I've taught, I think this will be the fifth time I've taught this specific retreat there. And I keep returning because it is such a gem.
Special place.
Mhm.
So tell us a little bit about, who might want to come on this retreat. Obviously, it's for women. Sorry, guys. It is a women's only retreat, but what type of women might really benefit or be interested in this retreat? Obviously, dance and yoga and belly dancers, but what would you say?
Well, I do want to say that it is open if you are relating to the feminine, and if there is a deep call, we do work with the physical womb, and we do some womb healing work, so that can or cannot work. But if anyone is interested and that is considered transgender, non-binary, or male, in the true divine feminine and relates to the feminine in that way, they can always write to me and I can, communicate with them on that. But yes, primarily it is for the sisters, our womb bearing women. It is for all women who feel a deep calling to return to their bodies as a safe temple, as a beautiful, nourishing, connected practice. So it is the play, it is the surrender, it is the fierceness, it is all of this is welcome. So a lot of the women that do come are perhaps wanting to reclaim their body, perhaps from motherhood or body image concepts. The thing I love so much about belly dance is that it's a women's dance made for all of the phases of your life. So I had a background in traditional ballet, and it was very much a certain body type, a certain age, and then that was that. Belly dance is for all body types and all ages. And honestly, it is somatic belly dance is what I'm bringing in. It's a healing art form. So if this retreat is for anyone who feels like they're ready to dive deeper into connecting and saying yes to feeling safe and excited and nourished in their body, and those who are on the path of seeking to be in sisterhood, to be seen and witness other women in a non-competitive, deeply empowering and nourishing place.
Mm.
It's the time, and normally in ancient, realms, we would be together weaving baskets by the water and gathering food and spices. And, there are a few traditions still doing this in this time, but our modern world, especially for women, can be very separated and individualized. And women are the weavers. So we really need community and need to be able to sing and dance and pray and play together. And then we can nourish our communities from that place.
Beautiful. Oh, I love that so much. So the Radiant Priestess Retreat in Maui is when?
October 15th through
October.
25th.
Okay, October 15th. So got about 4 months before this is happening. It's coming up soon. Do you have a sign up special happening in August? Is that what's going on?
Yes, so we
Yeah.
have 8 places still open. We're doing the early bird rate until August 19th. And
Okay.
then after that, it goes up to the full rate. So it's just whoever comes in first. If we fill before then, there is a application process. So you can just go to the website, which is ritualmovementarts.com, and fill in the application. And then you'll hear from me and we'll move from there, and you can register right there. And if for any reason your application is not accepted, you will be refunded. But that's hasn't happened yet. Everyone that has come forward has felt in really good alignment.
Beautiful. So if we're speaking your language here right now and you are interested in embodying your modern day and also ancient self in through dance and nature, and if this is calling out to you, get in touch. You can reach out to myself or Aradia, ritualmovementarts.com, and get to Maui. If you haven't been, I highly recommend it. And I absolutely love this retreat center. It's a very special place, and it really sounds like this will be a powerful journey for anyone who says yes to it. So thank you so much for being here today.
Yes, thank you for letting me bring words to this. It's always special, and there's always so much to share that it's nice to create the container together and just illuminate what is alive, what are we really calling in. And then with retreats, again, it is that mystery school element. Like, we want to gather. That's why we have so many festivals, and retreats are such a huge thing now, as we're trying to rewild ourselves and learn how can we co-create a different reality than the one that we've been subscribing to, because it's not working, right? It's time for change.
Yeah,
And
one of the yeah, one of the most powerful things I do find about retreats, and the fact that you're calling the number 13 in, of course, is very potent as well. But when a small group of like-minded people come together with a single intention, that is where major magic can occur. So it sounds like you are destined for some magic, and I wonder who else wants to jump on the magic carpet ride with you to Maui. So that would be wonderful to see that. And I absolutely love your Instagram too. So you have really beautifully curated a visual expression of this. So definitely check that out as well.
Thank you. Yeah, that's my Libra rising, having fun.
Nice. The goddess is here. Yes.
Yes.
Wonderful. Awesome. So beautiful to chat with you today. Thank you all so much. And I hope you all enjoyed meeting Aradia from Ritual Movement Arts. Ciao, ciao.
Blessings.